If you open it by building pressure, it opens up today and again tomorrow it may just shut itself. Or before enough pressure builds up and this opens, something else freaks in you and you run away, yes. Because the pressure builds up in such a way, if you have to hold it, you need… because you don't know what's happening, it looks like torture. It looks like seventh degree torture. If you're putting yourself through the whole process, then definitely your mind will ask, what is the point of going through this torture? Because it's a lot of torture. Not letting a single thought find expression, not letting a single emotion find expression, not uttering a single word, not finding expression to a single opinion that arises in your mind, single idea that arises in your mind. Oh, it'll burst you somewhere. Ajna means it is the source of knowing. This is discernment to its highest point. You know, light has 7 colors in it, at least clearly discernible, actually there are many more. Clearly discernible 7 colors. As I said earlier, if light became purple or red or something else, it would be useful only for one purpose. It would not be useful for everything. But this is colorless light, we're calling it white light, but actually it's colorless because you don't see it. You actually don't see it. If you look at the source, you see it because it's reflecting from the reflector and coming. If you look at an object upon which it is falling, you see it. But in between, you're not seeing light here. It is actually passing, you don't see it, isn't it? Only when something stops it, now you see, this is lit, but here light is coming, you don't see it. So light is colorless. So colorless light, if it's broken down, becomes 7 colors. Similarly, the 7 chakras are a representation of 7 colors, but Ajna is colorless. So this is why Ajna is related to Vairagya, that means a colorless or beyond color state. It's because of this colorless light you're seeing everything clearly the way it is. Suppose we put on red light here, each one of you would look different. If you put blue light, you will look different. If I put yellow light, you look different. Colorless light, we see you just the way you are. So if you get to your Ajna, if one is established in the Ajna, you see everything just the way it is. When you see everything just the way it is, you may completely lose interest in everything. You may, I said. This happened to me when I was very young because I'm always staring at something, want to see what it is, what it is, what it is. So you just look at people. Because I just was so intrigued that everybody is going around with a purpose. It looks like that. I didn't know where to go, I had no purpose. I didn't know anything about anything, but everybody is going like this. I don't know where the hell they're going, but they're all busy. I just see people, you know, in India, those buses would be going. I think many times I wrote some poetry about this, I don't know if it ever got published, about how everybody is going somewhere. Do they really know where they're going? At least I didn't know where the hell I'm going. I had no clue, where am I going? People tell me, go to school. I don't know why I should go to school. And if I come back a little late, why didn't you come back home? I didn't know why I should come back home. I just could not understand why everybody has a purpose every minute of their life. Why should I do this? Why should I do that? Because I still not figured a thing. So because of this, I'm paying enormous attention to everything. I'm seeing so many things like that. Things that normally, probably at that age would have been a big thing. I know my friends and others who are around me. It was so big in their minds, but it didn't mean a thing like, if I sat in a certain way, it was very common for me to see everybody totally naked. I'm not talking about somebody, even my mother, my sisters, my father, everybody walking around in the house. I just looked at them. I was not titillated by this, I was not disgusted by this, I was not anything. I simply looked at everything the way it is. So when I came to a certain age when all my friends were, their hormones entered their minds and they went crazy, I was just looking at them also just like that, because I have seen naked women all my childhood. I'm saying when I'm 5, 6 years of age, I have seen hundreds and hundreds of naked men and women. I see 14, 15-year-old boys, if they see something, little something, they'll get all excited and like this, the level of freedom it gave me, the level of freedom it gives you when external things don't decide what happens within you is tremendous. The amount of energy you have to invest in things that matter within you is phenomenal, because outside things do not matter for you, because you've seen it just the way it is. Suppose you see a man or a woman and you see all the intestines and the liver and everything. I have heard many people who are doing medicine in India, after doing the cadaver, whatever the anatomy lessons and stuff, they don't want to get married, they don't want to have anything to do with anybody because they've seen all kinds of things inside. You've heard this? People talking like this. Maybe later on they will succumb to those things, that's different. But at one moment when they see what is inside, they say, enough of this. They don't want to look inside anymore. So as you start seeing everything just the way it is, if you have not counterbalanced that with sweetness of emotion, you can't be involved in the world. You just look at everything and nothing means anything. This is how it is understood. People thought vairagya means non-involvement. That is because people started seeing a few things the way they are, but they don't have the sweetness of emotion. Now, you look at these people, what is there? What is there in all this? Nothing. So you cannot be involved anymore, simply because you are seeing some things the way they are. You are not seeing everything the way it is. You are seeing some things beyond the normal limitations everybody has. You are seeing little more. This will make you either disgusted, frustrated or uninvolved, become aloof. Aloofness will come if you have not counterbalanced your discernment with sweetness of emotion. It's very important. Otherwise, if simply pure discernment comes, you cannot involve yourself in life. Because you see through, like Gautama went about saying, life is suffering. Either it is old age or disease or death, that's all there is, that's all that's waiting for you in the end. I am also constantly telling people, the only thing that will happen to you is you will end up in the grave. But I'm saying it in such a way, people are not realizing the graveness of it. When I talk about grave, people laugh. they don't become like this. Have you seen? I'm constantly, almost in every talk these days, I'm talking about the grave. But people become very joyful, that's a good sign Because if you really saw, whatever I do, the only thing is, I'll end up there, they'll either burn me or bury me, that's all. That is the final thing. It can be terrifying. It can be very depressing. It can take away all focus from life. So it's very important that seeing things the way they are comes with sweetness of emotion. Yogi's guide to joy is not an ultimate thing, it's a first bloody step. What to do at this age, I'm doing the first step. It's a first step, because without sweetness of emotion, if you start seeing life the way it is, you will not want to have anything to do with it. You will become aloof. So, this balance is needed. If you want to touch Agna, the symbol of Isha Yoga Center is a triangle with a circle around it. This is the symbol of Agna. Well, if you meet somebody, the first thing that you show is your face to them. So if people recognize you, they recognize you by the face. This doesn't mean everything is in your face. The real things are here. Yes? Yes or no? The real things which make this life work are all down the line. But the first thing that you show is your face. So even for Isha Yoga Center, the first thing that we want to show people is Agna, because Agna is most accepted in the world. People who are doing sadhana and Agna will always be revered as, oh, eyeballs rolled up. If we put out the Vishuddhi people in the front, then we'll get labeled as weirdos. If you put up Agna people in the front, then people will think we are a confused lot. I mean Anahata people. If you put up the Agna people, they'll think, oh, so nice, really spiritual, you know. So the face is always Agna because there is clarity. I'm valued in this world for my clarity. Other aspects, because I'm not willing to do the weird things that I did elsewhere anymore, people don't even know. Once in a way, somebody around may feel something, but no. Generally, the larger population values this only for the clarity that's brought. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not everything. Just by itself, clarity will create disinterest, clarity will create aloofness, clarity will create withdrawal from life. If you see everything just the way it is, you will not want to play the game. To see everything just the way it is and still play the game, you need sweetness of emotion. You must be dripping ecstasy within you. Then it's okay, it doesn't mean a damn thing, but you still play. There is something called as a pineal gland. Various aspects of yoga or sadhana of yoga is to move it little down, south, it's called, moving it south. This is the symbolism of Shiva turning south because his third eye moved south. What was up here came down between the two eyes. The moment it came here, he saw things that nobody had ever seen. Now, if this happens in a certain way, the secretions of the pineal, which in yoga is referred to as amrit or amrita or amritam probably in Sanskrit, this amritam either can be taken into the system to strengthen the system and increase or extend the longevity of the system. Or this Amrita can be taken to create blissfulness in the system, like a drug. It can just blow you away. Or you can use this Amrita to enhance your perception that you can become like thin air because everything that is here passes through you. Right now, air passes only through your nostrils, and you know if it doesn't pass, you're gone. If this air can pass through right across you, some of you might at some moment felt when you're very carefree and joyful, you stood in the breeze, it feels like breeze is passing through you. And you become 100% transparent. That is because you've used your Amrita to bring sensitivity to the system. So these are three fundamental ways. One is to strengthen the body, to make it like a rock, which will give a certain longevity to that person, which is considered superhuman by most people. Or to bring such a level of drunkenness and blissfulness within you that you don't care how long you live. Or to make yourself like thin air, that your perception is super hyped because there is absolutely no resistance to the system. The same secretions of the pineal gland can be used in three different ways. This Amrita or this secretion of the pineal gland will play the right kind of role in the system. When I say right, in my perception, only if it enhances your perception, it is right, because if you do not enhance your perception, your life doesn't get enhanced in any way. It only gets enhanced in somebody else's eyes. If you become like a rock, your experience of life may not change. It is just other people think you're fantastic. Well, we could have made a statue out of you and you would have been a rock. Anyway, we didn't need a human being to become like a rock. If you have a rock for a brain, this will be the problem. You're always thinking, which is a bigger rock than you, which is a smaller rock than you. Your entire life goes into this as to which is superior, which is inferior, which is better, which is worse. Endlessly you will be comparing yourself because this is the nature of a rock. This is the nature of physical reality. Once you identify yourself with physical reality, which is better, which is worse, is a natural process of thought. Only if you transcend that, can you be free from this as to which is better and which is worse.
The most significant aspect of Shiva is that he opened his third eye. All the other things, he danced, he meditated, married twice, did so many things, that's not the thing. He opened his third eye. It's only for that we remember him even today. For that, even today, after thousands of years, we still bow down to him. Because there is no substitute for knowing. There is no substitute for knowing means. And there is no way to know unless your perception goes beyond your present levels of perception. Unless your ability to see is enhanced beyond its present limitations, there is no way to know. To know is to be free. So, Shiva is significant for us not because he's wrecked in Himalayas, not because he played with snakes, not because of this or that, because he opened his third eye. He perceived most human beings fail to perceive. What is unseen for a large segment of humanity became a normal part of his vision. That's what third eye means. So people say, when Shiva opened his third eye, it was a fiery process, fire came out of it. Why they're saying fire is because within himself he burnt everything that he thought mattered to him. He became like a fire chamber, like a kiln, that within himself he burnt everything that can be burnt, and then from every pore of his body, instead of sweat and blood coming, ash came out. Why? Shiva is always depicted as ash smeared. He didn't go about smearing ash. Ash came out of his pores. This is to indicate that he has burnt it all. He has burnt every shred of ignorance, everything that one believes as true, he burnt. Because he burned everything and everything became ash, then this opening of the third eye could not be denied to him. When it opened, people saw fire because the inner chamber was burning. There are two ways of opening the eye. One way is the inside has become total vacuum, so the doorway gets sucked in and naturally has to open. The doorway becomes limp and falls inward because there is nothing. He simply burnt not only his thought, not only his emotion, not just his relationships and possessions, he's just burnt his very being. The individual being is completely burnt out and there's a total vacuum, so the door fell inward and it's open. So people saw fire because it was burning still. Another way of opening the third eye is you contain everything inside. Everything is contained. You did not find any expression for your thought, any expression for your emotion, any expression for anything. You could not even utter a word. See, if you remain silent for 4 days, on the 5th day, you feel like singing suddenly. If you don't know how to sing, you want to howl like a wolf, huh? Because you want to let go. You didn't let go anything, so much pressure built up, and this door got knocked open from inside. There's another way to do it. The first way of doing is the best way of doing, because if you open it by building pressure, it opens up today and again tomorrow it may just shut itself. Or before enough pressure builds up and this opens, something else freaks in you and you run away, yes. Because the pressure builds up in such a way, if you have to hold it, you need… because you don't know what's happening, it looks like torture. It looks like 7th degree torture. If you're putting yourself through the whole process, then definitely your mind will ask, what is the point of going through this torture? Because it's a lot of torture. Not letting a single thought find expression, not letting a single emotion find expression, not uttering a single word, not having not finding expression to a single opinion that arises in your mind, single idea that arises in your mind. Oh, it'll burst you somewhere. If you hold everything intact, this will open, otherwise something else will freak. But you are a little… you're diplomatic. You believe in the middle path. That means you don't wish to get anywhere. People who believe in the middle path, they're determined not to get anywhere in their life. Middle path means just your comfort zone. Neither this nor that. Either you become empty, the sheer power of vacuum will open it, or you build up pressure in you, it'll burst open. Two ways of opening. Middle path means you are a professional bullshitter. Really. Full-time bullshitter you are, not professional. Profession means they do it only part-time, right? They do it only certain times of the day. It doesn't matter where you go, you do your own stuff. Middle path. Middle path is a way of not getting anywhere, and after some time thinking, this doesn't go anywhere. Right now you're walking on the street, suddenly you found a big rock, there are only two ways to go, either this way or this way. This way a tiger is growling, this way there's fire burning. You think the best thing is middle path, that is to go into the rock. Obviously this is not going to go anywhere. This will give you good exercise for some time. If you try to go into the rock, it's a good exercise, really, it'll build a lot of good muscle if you take the middle path. It's just that you don't go anywhere.
I'm just hesitating because I'm entering dangerous territory. So whatever I say right now is not for practice, not for any kind of pursuit, I'm just telling you simply a story. There are two different points in the body through which one can project one's life energies outward when you're sleeping. Well, if you use your ajna and push it out 18 to 21 inches, you will have an equilateral triangle with sides, all the three sides being approximately 24 inches. So if you're here, this will be 12 inches here and 12 inches above. If you manage to push this approximately, let's say not 21 inches, you pushed it 9 inches, then what happens to you is, you will have relief from constant unnecessary mental activity. This is what a whole lot of people in the world are saying are the benefits of meditation, that their mental activity has come down, they're feeling little more peaceful and they're little better human beings because in their daytime, knowingly or unknowingly, little has been pushed. May not be happening in sleep, but if it happens in sleep, you will find complete relief from this unnecessary mental activity that's happening. If you manage to push this, let's say 12 inches, very easily you access the minds and intentions of all the people who are connected with you, particularly if they're blood-related. You can very easily know their intents and their minds effortlessly without trying to read their minds, simply like that. If you push this out 15 inches, you will know of significant events anywhere that's happening. Major shifts that happen in this planet or in this planetary system, you will know. It is from this that You will see many yogis and sages and seers predicted that at this time a comet will happen. A major comet will happen which can cause this kind of influence over the planet. Like this they have said in the past, and it's happened exactly at those times because they saw it coming, not with a telescope or something. In their energies they saw it's coming. If you push this 18 inches, all that's worth knowing you can access. Takes a little like going to a library and reading up a bit, but you have access to all that's worth knowing. If you push it full 21 inches and it stays there, then your consciousness becomes cosmic and can facilitate liberation or what is now generally known as Mahasamadhi or Mahaparinirvana. That means one can live consciously. If you can hold it up at 21 inches away from your ajna, this will open up slowly. As it opens up, life and leaving the body becomes an entirely conscious process.